What's up, everybody, and welcome to today's video where we're talking about travel and more specifically some of the crazy stories that I have from traveling. Now, today's not too crazy. It was just a little like anxiety provoking when it happened. It's about a state that's one of my favorite states in the country. It's about Oregon. Not specifically anything about the state of Oregon, but it just happened in Oregon, which is one of Colorado's probably my favorite, then Oregon. But either way, this is the gist of the story. So, in case you guys didn't know, when I was traveling across the country last summer, in the summer of 2016, I was doing it on a tight budget. I was talking to businesses, letting them get me free museum entrance. I was sharing on social media in order to earn things. Now, when it came to food, a lot of times farmers markets, mom and pop shops, things like that, they would offer me, or they would want to support me. But there was also Domino's. Now, I talk about how to get free food in another video. I'll put a link down below and up in the corner. But essentially, places would give me free food such as Domino's. And Domino's was really nice about it a lot of the time. I mean, every Domino's is different because it's owned by somebody else. But a lot of times if you go right before they close, they would give you free food. So it was 10:55 or something like that. Something really close to 11 o'clock, which is when Domino's closed. And I was in the Columbia River Gorge, which is the part of Oregon that meets with Washington State. And I was trying to get to, I typed in Domino's in the GPS, found the closest one, and I was gonna be cutting it just in time to get there before it was closed. So I don't know how it exactly happened, but supposedly I ran 2 stop signs and was speeding, and it was 10:55 at night, and I got pulled over by a police officer, and I didn't know any of the things that I had just done until I was pulled over, and he was talking to me, and he explained why he pulled me over, and my heart was racing. I just wanted to get food, and I don't know, I was oh snap, and this is I was not a new driver, but I was freshly 21, and I mean, for some reason I had over feared, I had fears that were not really worth having about maybe things that could happen to me because I was 21 now and I got pulled over, as opposed to being 18 and getting pulled over. So I just had all these thoughts going through my mind. I was I just want to get food, I'm hungry, I was just freaking out. And there's actually live video. I think there should be live video footage of this. I don't know how live, but my reactions right after. I'll put a link down below and up in the corner as well. But that was just a crazy story that after all, the guy was really nice about it. He was yeah, you should just be a little more, because he asked me what you're doing, and I was completely honest with him. And I was honestly, sir, I'm traveling the country, and I am just trying to get to Domino's in time to get my pizza. And I don't think I told him that it was free. I just told him that I had a pizza that I was trying to get at Domino's before they closed. And he was all right, well, just be more conscious, be more aware, drive more carefully. He just gave me a bunch of advice and then let me go. And I was oh my gosh, thank goodness, because I did not want this free pizza to turn into an $80 pizza, from a ticket. So luckily, which doesn't, yeah, okay, I'll save that other story for another time. I had another story that popped in my mind, but let's just stay on track. See, I'm not the best storyteller, I apologize, guys. But yeah, so essentially he let me go off the hook. I got to Domino's. I actually got free pizza, thank goodness. I got there in time and everything. But that was just a really scary experience in the moment. If any of you have ever experienced being pulled over by a police officer, especially if you're a somewhat new driver. I mean, I had my license since I was 16, but it's just different being across the country in another state and not knowing if there's laws that are different, and just not being an experienced enough driver, having a lot of miles underneath your belt, it can be really scary. So that was an interesting experience. But to tack on that other story, because it was really important to me, is later on in Oregon, a police officer pulled me over because I passed somebody in a 2-lane highway kind of thing, and it was the Thursday of the 4th of July weekend, and he told me that I didn't use my blinker, which, I mean, I'm not even used to passing people, because that's not a thing that you do here in the city in Annapolis and whatnot. And so he gave me a ticket, and he gave me a $110 ticket. That's just ridiculous. There's no crazy fun story to that part. It's just ridiculous. How do you justify? He was it's because it's the 4th of July weekend, and it's the Thursday of the 4th of July weekend. He's there's a lot of people on the road, you gotta be extra careful, that kind of thing. And I was Oh my goodness. I actually called my uncle, FBI uncle, and I was like, is there anything I can do about it? He was like, well, you can not pay the ticket, and if you ever return to Oregon, there will be a warrant out for your arrest, or in any of the partnering states that have an agreement with Oregon. I was like, well, I love Oregon. I'm probably coming back at some point in the future, which I did this summer, so I'm glad I paid it. Otherwise, that would have been bad news. So that's today's stories. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions about travel, about that story specifically, don't really know what you'd want to ask, but feel free to ask. I'm here for you guys. I love to share about travel. I love to help you guys learn how to make travel affordable and achievable. That's what the Young Travelers movement is all about. Inspiring high school graduates, college students, and really anybody else, but focusing on them to learn how to travel, to learn more about the world around them, learn more about themselves and what they want to do with their career. So hit me up with any questions you have, comments, stories that you might want to share. Love to have you as like a guest on a video. If you will have a story you want to share, like we can figure out some way to make it cool so that you can record it and share it on my channel. So with that being said, please subscribe so you don't miss an upload. Share about this channel with somebody who you know who might be interested, and then I will catch you all in the next video. But until then, high five!